Hi, lovely people. It is me, Jessica, and I am back to have a short conversation about a topic I mentioned in another video. So, I talked about job seekers and this thing that's going around how people are just saying, hey, for 2022, job seeker strategy, it's going to be a candidate's market. And here's the thing it really doesn't mean it's a candidate's market for everyone. What do I mean when I say job candidates market? Well, it just means that it's tougher to find candidates, so it's it should be an easier time for candidates to find a job. My point in the last video was that this does not apply to everyone. It's a very blanketed statement that I'm hearing a lot on YouTube that, hey, it's a job candidates market. You're going to have an easier time finding a job. That's not the case for everyone. And I mentioned something in the last video where I talked about demand and supply and really analyzing your specific scenario because, yes, it may be a job seeker's market in general, but that really depends on the industry that you're in, the type of job that you're looking for, and the specific skills that you actually have. So, what we're going to do today is really talk about a job search strategy for someone that is saying, look, I keep hearing everyone say it is a job seeker's market, and that has not been the case for me. I'm having a hard time, or for someone that just wants to analyze their situation and have a better time finding a job or getting their dream job, whatever your case is. So, I want to talk about this thing I brought up, which is basically these four different buckets that a job seeker and really anyone that has a skill is going to find themselves in. So if you're looking at your skill set, you're looking at your job, you're looking at the job that you want, it is going to fall in one of these four buckets. So we have here high demand, high supply, low demand, high supply, high demand, low supply, and low demand, low supply. So we're talking about jobs, right? Or a skill. You can even look at it if you are employed, looking at the skills that you actually have. So, high demand, high supply. What do I mean by this? Well, high demand means a lot of people are looking for your skill set. A lot of people, a lot of companies. You go to a company like Microsoft and you're just going to see tons of job openings for this type of job title or for the skill set, right? High supply is about how many people are available in the marketplace with that specific talent that these companies are looking for. So, a high demand, high supply job might be actually my own job, a recruiter. There's a big demand right now for recruiters, people that can find great talent. Now, there's also a high supply of recruiters available. What will distinguish a person in this type of area where there's a lot of people looking for this talent, but there's also a lot of people available in the market with this talent? The thing that is going to differentiate you is going to be having niche skill sets, add ons, any preferred skills that set you apart from all of those people that say they are a recruiter, that say that they can find top talent. One of the things may be if you have technical recruiting experience. You're going to see the supply drop when you look for recruiters that have direct experience hiring technical talent and have a tech savvy and can talk the lingo, right? So that's just one example of a high demand, high supply job. Now let's look at low demand, high supply. So this is a case where there's not a lot of companies actually looking for that talent, right? They don't have as many needs there. You're not going to go to a company site and see a ton of job openings. However, there is a high supply of talent. Now, an example here could be any type of administrative job. It could also be marketing job. It could be social media job because a lot of people want to work in social media. A lot of people want to be a marketer. However, there may not be as much demand or as much demand as there is supply when you look at that very generally. So, again, in this case, with there being a low demand, so not as many companies looking for this skill set, I'll just work with the case of an administrative assistant. There's a high supply of people that can do administrative duties. So, what does someone in this bucket actually do? Well, a couple of things. One will actually be knowing that you're going to have a tougher time finding jobs. So you're going to have to change your strategy up a bit, right? You're going to have a harder time getting beyond other applicants. So you're going to need to focus on preferred skills like I talked about before, getting a foot in the door with referrals, or you may need to reassess your job market. Do you really want to work in this field? Is there a niche space that you can move into? Are there additional skills that you can gain? Or you may need to look at a specific market. Maybe you need to find smaller companies that are less in demand to work for. Those are just a few thoughts there. Moving on to the next bucket, high demand, low supply. So a high demand and a low supply. Now this this is the ultimate candidate market. So the job seeker is in control, generally speaking. Now, high demand for companies. That means if you go to a company site, again, companies are looking for this person, right? But there's a low supply. There are not a lot of people that are doing this job that all of these companies want. There are not a lot of people with the skill set that these companies want. A great example of this is going to be anyone in the cybersecurity space. This means your cybersecurity administrators, your cybersecurity specialists, your compliance managers, all of these folks that have an IT knowledge, but they specify in cybersecurity. Another one could be anything related to the cloud and cloud architecture, knowledge of Amazon Web Services, knowledge of Google Cloud Platform, Azure, or Azure. I hear it pronounced multiple ways. These are high demand, low supply. So these are the folks that probably are hearing and have heard for a long time, "Oh, you're good. You're always going to have a job," right? Your approach to a job strategy or a job search strategy is going to look different. And a lot of the folks online right now talking about, "Hey, as a candidate market," they're talking about these folks. Now, the pandemic has changed things. This has actually made it to where we can include things like waiters and waitresses. We can include other people. Nurses have been in this bucket for a long time, but even more so since 2020. Now, moving on to the next bucket, which is the one that can be most challenging, a low demand, low supply market, right? So, this means that there's not a lot of companies looking for this job or looking for your skill set. And there's not a lot of people even doing this anymore. There's not a big supply of people. This is what I would call a dying industry, right? So you've heard of different jobs where they just don't exist anymore. A big example of this would be elevator operators. Back in the day, there were elevator operators. When's the last time you got into an elevator and someone operated the elevator for you? It doesn't exist, right? So a low demand, low supply job is one that I would suspect is going to be replaced by automation. And some of the ones that come to mind are like travel agents. Because what do you do when you need to book a flight? What do you do when you need to book travel? You normally go online and there's a kind of package that you can buy, or you can just get the stuff yourself. Also, cashiers. We're easing into things, right? You go into a store, you see less and less of an actual person to check you out and more machines where you are actually checking yourself out with all of your items that you purchase, right? So these are some that appear to be dying industries. So there's a low demand, low supply. Now, this may not be the case generally because, of course, we had an influx of demand for cashiers. However, what you're going to see happen is, hey, we can't find the talent. Let's get more of these machines to do the jobs for us. right? So, why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because one, this is very important to job seekers. I also see this being important for anyone that is an employee that wants to, in 2022, make sure that their skills are high in demand. And if they are moving into finding a job, they understand what area their job and their skills fall into so that you can know what you'll need to do to actually get that ideal job or that dream job that you want. So, hopefully, this video is helpful. If you like more content about this or if you like an additional discussion, let me know. You'll find multiple topics on my channel related to job seekers, related to employment and skill sets, and all of these different topics that fall under the umbrella of human resources and recruiting and job seeking and making money, right? So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like the video, please do hit the like button, leave me a nice comment, and consider subscribing if you like this type of content and you like discussions like this. And with that, I appreciate you being here. I hope this is very helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, lovely people.